Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining me again. B-Man here. I got another great video from Reach Reports about Owen Schroeder. Those of you know who he is, know him, love him. If you don't know who he is, he's a InfoWars reporter, newscaster who's really very talented. But of course, he's persecuted by the deep state. So without further ado, let's get right into it here.
Elections have been rigged for centuries because government is a form of slavery, which is why what the founding fathers of these United States gave us is so revered. They drafted a form of government unlike any other in history, a revolutionary form of governance based upon the foundation that all men are created equal and independent, and that all are born with the inherent and inalienable right to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. George Washington wrote, "If men are to be precluded from offering their sentiments on a matter which may involve the most serious and alarming consequences that can invite the consideration of mankind, reason is of no use to us. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter."
We are now.
Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. When this support is taken away, the constitution of a free society is dissolved, and tyranny is erected on its ruins." And this is where we are at today. Our First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And it has been stripped away from us by tyrants. News host Owen Schroyer is being charged with the crime of questioning the results of the 2020 presidential elections, the most blatant election fraud in U.S. history. And he did so peacefully, which is his God-given right under the U.S. Constitution. Schroyer isn't being charged with conspiracy, incitement, or any actual crime at all. He is being charged for exercising his freedom of speech. The sentencing document goes on for pages, quoting him for saying what Americans on both sides of the crippling two-party system have been saying for over a century. In short, that the government is tyrannical and criminal, which should be obvious to just about everyone at this point. And this is not a crime. It is the first line of defense against tyranny, our freedom to call it out. The document mentions a simple misdemeanor that involves Schroyer being on Capitol grounds. This was a violation of a court order that resulted from a 2019 arrest when Schroyer stood and protested a House Judiciary Committee meeting. But this is not the crime he is being charged with. The 30-page sentencing document is nothing but hot air being blown by a legal team held on the leash by tyrants who occupy the halls of our government. What Schroyer is actually being charged with is best summarized on page 20, where it states, "His statements and actions after January 6 illustrate his complete lack of remorse. To date, despite a number of opportunities he has taken to speak about the election and January 6, he has yet to sincerely demonstrate genuine remorse for his conduct."
Forgive me, I hate interrupting these things. I like to let the video play through and then commentate afterwards, but that's exactly what they charged his boss, Alex Jones, with on the Sandy Hook stuff, because freedom of speech is completely being ignored here. We need to take our country back. We're under a tyrannical government, and journalists like James O'Keefe and Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer, they're the only ones speaking the truth to us. Greg Reese.
In other words, he won't shut up about the stolen 2020 election.
Shut him up.
This is his God-given right. But the criminals who have hijacked we the people's government are letting the rest of us know that those days are over, and we are now their slaves, to be experimented on, thrown in jail, and murdered. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Not for long. Let's go over to the Gateway Pundits reporting on this and see what the details were. So it looks like the Gateway Pundit here is reporting that he got 60 days under a plea bargain for being inside the Capitol. Um, these guys were deterred. I remember seeing a video of them telling people not to go inside because they knew it was a trap. They were way ahead of the curve with a bullhorn. Alex Jones screaming with a bullhorn, "Do not go in there. This is what they're going to make the whole argument about." I remember that. Let me see if I can find that video for you. Yeah, it looks like Owen pleaded guilty. It was a plea bargain, but they were charging him, and I watch him periodically, and I remember seeing him talk about the court cases and how expensive it was. So I'm pretty sure he was eager to get it over with. I'll have to look harder or look more to see if I can find that clip I was talking about. But here, I'll show you. This is his boss, Owen's boss, Alex Jones, and this explains a little clip from his trial. Explains exactly why the deep state wants to silence him.
One of the things you've been talking about on your show is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children, right?
You mean like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
And you've called this judge a tyrant, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you actually use that word a lot with your audience. You call people tyrants, don't you?
Only when they act like it.
Thank you for joining me. If you got through this whole video, you're awesome. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let us know in your comments anything you feel I left out or should say. And join me for our next video, and I'll try and find some of those clips I talked about earlier.